If you're a man who struggles to lead, to speak your own truth, or even to trust your own instincts, well, it's probably actually not your fault. Very likely it's your programming. Yeah. Now, most men today were not raised for strength. They were raised for obedience, taught to please, to serve, to keep the peace. Hi, I'm Jason, and like so many of you, I've been through the grinder of the feminist ideology dominated Western culture. Everything I just said, that was me most of my life. In today's video, we'll examine Blue Pill Upbringing, which includes single moms, dominant mothers, weak or absent fathers, feminist teachers, and ultimately the core wounds from a blue pill childhood. And finally, the cost of this blue pill feminist conditioning. So let's dive in. First is, how in the world did we get here? Well, we were shaped by emotional manipulation in way too many cases, for me, fatherlessness, and shame-based control. Yeah, me again. We were taught to apologize for our masculinity and fear, oh my God, fear the disapproval of women. A system that conditions boys to suffer silently, submit willingly, and totally disconnect from their masculine identity. Now, if that sounds like your story, understand you're not broken. You have been conditioned. So let's start off with, well, the fundamental. What is the blue pill upbringing? Well, you see, the blue pill, it's a belief system that tells boys masculinity is toxic. Women are morally superior, and your role is to protect, please, and obey. Now, that messaging doesn't just show up in relationships. It shows up in your family, your school, your media, and it shows up inside of you, inside of us. This is how compliant, disconnected, emotionally silenced men are made. It's not by accident. It's by design. Now, let's take a look at the role of single mothers. In case you're not aware of it, I was raised by a single mom. Single mothers are not the enemy. That's right. I want to say that again. Single mothers are not the enemy. But in a world where strong masculine presence is absolutely missing, that would be single mom home, the mother becomes everything, the caretaker, the authority, the emotional lifeline. And that is, oh my goodness, dangerous, because she doesn't have the native masculinity. Single mothers unintentionally, it's not their fault, it's unintentional, but they do enmesh their sons emotionally. They use guilt instead of guidance, reward compliance instead of confidence. The boy becomes often a surrogate partner, a little man, afraid to disappoint the only person who loved him. Now, I've been raising my hand or pointing at myself, so let's go into it a little bit. I spent decades afraid just simply to stand up, not because I didn't have the strength, but because I was taught it would hurt the woman who raised me. You bet. The damage of weak or absent fathers. In my case, totally absent. Met my dad when I was 17. When the mother dominates, the father disappears. Sometimes physically, just is gone, or other times emotionally. Even when he's in the house, he's passive, conflict avoidant, and, of course, apologetic. Already beaten down by the same system you're now stuck in. So what does the boy learn? Well, masculinity is useless or dangerous. Fathers don't lead or protect. Real men avoid conflict and keep their heads down. Without a grounded male example, boys grow up confused, fragile, and afraid. And that void, well, it doesn't stay empty. It gets filled with shame, anger, or desperation. So schools, well, how do schools reinforce blue pill beliefs? No, our schools don't raise men. They raise obedient citizens. Big difference. Most teachers and administrators are women. They're trained in feminist frameworks, even if they don't bring it already. And boys, well, they're punished for being boys. Energy, as all boys have, is labeled ADHD, so you're medicated. Rough play becomes aggression, and competition is, oh, you got it, back to toxic. If you question authority, oh, you're dangerous. And the message is clear. Tone it down. Sit still. Fold your hands and be nice. And if you don't, you're a problem. It's the same message at home, in school, in media. Masculinity is the problem. So, of course, that means you're the problem. So what comes out of this? Well, the core wounds of the blue pill man. By the time he's grown, the blue pill man is, well, emotionally fragile, buried deep hidden rage, and terrified of female disapproval. So he becomes the nice guy, always accommodating, always apologizing, waiting for permission to be himself, and resenting women for not giving it. He seeks validation instead of respect, suppresses anger until, unfortunately, it often explodes. He feels guilt over his sexuality. Oh, yeah, I did. His confidence, his desire to lead. Guilt, guilt, and more guilt. He's disconnected from his masculine core and doesn't even know it. So what's the cost of this conditioning? Well, you just look around. Male depression is at an all-time high. Fatherless homes are now, unbelievably, the norm. Passive men partner with dominant women. Men are collapsing under the pressure or simply just disappearing. Now, this is not really a personal thing. Of course, it is for each individual, but understand it's not something that's happening just to you. It's absolutely generational. I keep raising my hand and pointing at myself. Look at this, solid gray. I was raised in the 50s and 60s, and men my age have great grandchildren. So it's definitely generational. And this is how masculinity has died quietly, through shame, through conditioning, through silence. But it's not your destiny. At least it doesn't have to be. It can be just your starting point. In the next video, we'll break down how to undo this conditioning and rebuild yourself from the ground up. So please help out. Hit the like button and be sure to subscribe to get the next video with information on what to do to become the healthy, masculine man you want to be. Until next week, stay safe, stay sharp, stay strong. Thank you for watching.